Back in 1946, I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps. Prior to that, my family had sent me a picture of where I was over in the South Pacific with a lady in my uniform. So I got back there about midnight once I served my time in the Florida waters. They had a reception for me, and there was a lady there who I never know. She was the one that was in my uniform. So that's, as far as that's concerned, we made very good relationships, and I bet it's a bad word, but we became very close. March of 1946 to the 11th of 1946, we were married in that period of time. We naturally met each other and we went together. She was a telephone operator for Southern Connecticut Telephone. I would pick her up. We would go down to Seaside Park at 11 o'clock at night and have a hamburger. And so she might allow me to have a kiss. She said to me one day after we had been dating consistently, we were out of Howard Johnson's in Milford, and we were sitting there. She says, I want you to make a decision. This has been close to such and such a time. It's time, are you going to marry me? So I didn't jump at it right away, but the next time we went out there, I had a beautiful ring for her. My dear father, who I was never close to, gave me the ring for her. And strangely enough, a time after that, my family tried to stop me from marrying her. My father sent my brother, my older brother, over to tell Don, don't marry her. I can assume there were things, but I don't care. I'm looking at the lady that I feel I love. So in November of 1946, we were married in St. Patrick's High Church in Bridgeport. She lived right across the street from that church. And she would look out her window and she would say, oh, so-and-so is going to my wedding, so-and-so. I was a very naive young man because I wasn't brought up properly. I was an orphan. My words. And she sort of made me something, and not sort of. She made me something of which I was a nothing, and I mean that literally. I was a nothing. I had no education. She didn't give me education, but she helped me make something out of myself. There were times when we would go to New Jersey, because she was from New Jersey. She was brought up here when her mother was dying, when she was only 35 years old, the mother, whom I never met. And they sent Natalie, my beautiful Natalie, up here to live with her aunt while her mother was dying. She lived with her grandfather, nice gentleman, who, by the way, in a short period of time after we met, he approved of me. Now, this is Irish people, and Irish people are very, very set in their ways, aren't they, Kelly? Mm-hmm. We had a wedding. Her grandfather, who she lived with, gave her a wedding to a nice restaurant out in Fairfield. And my father, who really didn't care much of anything about what I did, allowed us to use his room and his lawn in Stratford. And that's how we met. Now I could go on to other things, but that pretty much tells you what happened at that particular time, I think. I can only say she was as perfect to be with as any person in the world could possibly be. She had everything. Natalie was 5 years older than I. And that never came to my mind. What else can I say concerning that? But she was a fun thing. She was a dancer. She was everything that anybody could possibly want. Taken before I ever knew her.
Oh.
And then when I got home from the Marine Corps, then they put the picture together, and that would have been in November of 1946. And she wore that uniform before I ever met her.
Wow.
It was in the South Pacific with the war going on where I was, and the picture arrived of her.
And what are 3 words to describe her?
Beautiful. What word would you do to tell her how outstanding she was in being, to meet people and do things nice with and for people? And she was also very pleasant to sit down and have a conversation with, which our children, mostly the ladies' part, were always very interested to sit down with mother, grandmother, or great-grandmother and have conversations. So there was nothing else that could possibly be to describe her any better. I don't think so. What did we do? Pick her up at the Southern New England Telephone Company and go to Seaside Park at 11 o'clock at night and have a hot dog.